GM. I don't know why I went full in a world just then. Like, in a world where the mornings are good, it is always GM. Hey,
That's a fabulous take you have there. Giving me goosebumps. A little too early for that. A GM, everybody. Welcome to Ink Tank, episode number 34. What we've dubbed as in real life events to digital ownership, the Doodles funnel, a product perspective. And we are here with our fellow squid. Squidward, how's it going?
What's up, guys? I'm so happy that you played the boys are back in town.
I mean,
I know it's corny. But just so anyone listening knows what's up with that. Me and French Loaf forever. Whenever we do a roadmap presentation or introduce new engineers or whatever, like we do in-person meetings. The first time I did it with the Doodles team was fucking hysterical because like everyone's all serious. We're looking at slideshows all day. Like there's just all of this like business talk, and then me and French Loaf like go away into a separate room and just start blasting the boys are back in town off of a laptop and come running in from the back and being like, woo, let's go.
Oh
and everyone's like, what the fuck is
why does this sound like a scene from The Office? Like, oh, it's incredible.
It's so corny, but I just can't stop doing it. It's like a meme now. I just can't. We can't stop. French Loaf started it, and we can't stop.
I feel like something that has the same energy that maybe you rock out with. If you just want to mix it up, like there's Kickstart My Heart, which is a classic.
Yeah,
and there's also Jukebox Hero. You know what I mean? Like you're sitting there like,
one Jukebox Hero.
Jukebox Hero does have a very, very similar energy. That's a really good one to try out.
Similar energy. What? Similar energy.
Like they said, you can't spell culture without cult. So I'm really glad that it starts at the top and trickles down to us.
Yeah, the culture is just descending.
Yeah.
Trickle down culturenomics.
Top down. But yeah, so what'd you guys have for dinner? Have you even eaten dinner, Lifts? I mean, I think it's like 4 p.m.
I don't know why. It's so funny because you are Chef Tony. Every time you ask me, I'm like, oh, interesting question. And I'm like, oh, it's Chef Tony. Of course he's asking me this question. Now I will say that my answer is probably not that exciting. So, hey, I'll shield my bags here. I'll shield my bags. I had a Factor meal. If y'all want to reference, referral code.
You got a ref code?
Hit me up, dog. Hit me up.
How is that shit? I've seen I live like way out. There's not, it's not a super populated area, and I still see this Factor truck drive around down by me.
Dude,
I've been curious, like what's up with that shit? What is it like? Is that like HelloFresh? Like what's going on?
No, so I really like it personally, and I probably overdo it because that's how I live my life. But
what, overdoing shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I get it.
The vibes.
Yeah.
No, but so for us it's great. So it's not HelloFresh. You don't have to make anything, right? They're fully prepared meals. So they come in a box.
It's lean cuisine for like the young like professional.
Crypto bro league.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just.
But it's not frozen. It's just cold, right?
Fresh, never frozen, baby. But the real deal is so that every one of them, it takes 2 minutes to microwave. So that's their bit. 2 minutes to microwave. And honestly, the food is good. Like I was going to be okay if it was just like chicken and rice. I expected bro food, right? Like gym bro food. But they don't like, it's like well curated meals, like well spiced, the size, like it just is actually good. And so I never mind eating them. And it to me, it has like that Steve Jobs, like what are you wearing every day turtleneck vibe, like in the way that the decision fatigue is
denim.
It's
denim and black.
Well, no, but in the way that it's not all the exact same food, but I just literally don't have to think. I'm just like pull it out of the fridge. I'm like, this is going to be good. Great. And I know like the macros are good from like a health perspective. There's no question to me that I'm like, this is healthy. This is health promoting, like, and it's saving me massive amounts of time, like from deciding.
Okay. Give me the financial breakdown cost per meal, like for a dude lift sized guy. You eat one?
Yeah.
Because like when I did HelloFresh, I did like a person and a half worth of food.
Nice. I eat one. Now I will say I'm not like overly full, which is probably good to be fair. I think it breaks down to just be either over under $10 a meal.
Okay.
And if you,
That's pretty cheap.
it's not that bad, especially with groceries the way they are. Like I'm like every day I feel a little bit better about it. I'm not lying. So, yeah. And if you're comparing it to eating out, like get the fuck out of here. Like you can't even go to McDonald's for $10 these days.
If you're comparing it to Netflix, you're going to be paying $30 a fucking meal in like a year and a half.
Bruh. Dude, hopefully you got that.
Damn.
Hopefully you got that founders edition. The founders edition rate.
We're talking
The OG
inflation already.
Yeah, you're going to need an OG token. Have they launched a collection yet?
No, not yet.
You could be like their head of Web3.
But honestly, it's like, and I've given out so many free boxes, and I don't even know if I get any kind of kickback. To be fair, like I think they're probably rugging me, but I don't care. It's actually good. I would not mind, promoting.
Dude, I'm a big time referral code guy now. After fucking
Ingy and Bonk bot.
Yeah, dude.
As you should be, King.
Coin season, and I dropped that fucking Bonk bot link on Ingy. And he took a week off. It was his first week of vacation, like probably.
Oh my gosh, you gave him a crack pipe.
Dude, since he was like, I don't know, like 15 years old, it was his first week of vacation. And he must have spent that whole time trading meme coins because I made like $70 off the dude. It was great.
Legendary.
It was awesome. I mean, and for Squinch, that's a come up, like $70 just hanging out. That's a, I understand
sure.
People shill their referral codes now.
For sure.
So if you're a Factor guy, everybody listening, go get your Factor box.
Hey, we'll link the tweets at the top.
Doodles is gonna come out on top, fucking $4 a meal for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I'll be riding you free and easy. No, but I legitimately like going into this is funny. I made this tweet probably months ago. I was like, hey, the bull run's coming. Like, you're gonna fucking be smoking cigs and eating Uncrustables, and you're gonna be falling behind. I was like, get your Factor meals in line now. Get on your game, and you'll be a high performance degen. You'll have enough protein, carbohydrates to make the best trading decisions you can. But
dude, honestly though, you just made cigarettes and Uncrustables sound pretty sick.
I know. Dude, I quit smoking years ago. But so yeah, that's my Factor meal spiel. So I had chicken tikka masala for dinner is ultimately what the answer to this question was. So
wow, that was the longest runaround I think I've ever gotten to that question, but I appreciate.
I'll be faster. Mine's correlated. I had buttered chicken. My wife made it in a crock pot.
There you go.
The end.
There you go. Love it.
Fire.
Now,
nice.
Tony, what'd you have for dinner? Let us know what's up.
I did like Mexican street corn on the cob and turkey burgers.
Hey, elotes. That sounds great, man.
Yeah.
It was nice. Yo, Ness, A-Town, what's good, GM?
What's up, y'all? How's it going?
Yo, what's going on?
I like this conversation because I actually just got back on the HelloFresh kick, and it's been pretty good. I'm loving it.
I mean,
I gotta try Factor out though. Apparently,
I've never done HelloFresh. I mean, and I like cooking, honestly, but I'm just like the difference between having
nobody got time for that.
Hey, I'm trying to do too many things. I'm in the trenches.
I don't know how you sleep, to be honest, but admirable.
Hey, we out here.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I pretty much have like 4 jobs right now, so the 2-minute thing, that's interesting. I might try that out. I might hit you up for that referral code.
Dude, I'm just saying it makes sense for like people like us. I was like, hey, you want to be chronically online? Only 4
Thank
minutes.
God it's Factor.
There we go. Today's show brought to you by Factor Brio. JK. I wish. Hey, if anybody knows anybody.
If anybody knows someone there, yeah, that sounds like a good synergy.
I'll flag the truck next time it drives down the road.
It is up.
You heard of Dude Lifts, bro? Can you give me a referral link?
Dude, I see the truck right when they have to these boxes are heavy too, and they're schlepping these things down the road. I'm like, these guys are beasts. They're eating the Factor meals for sure.
It's a part of the package, man.
How do we get here? Ness, GM, how you doing, man?
Yo, Lifts, I came to give you your props. I saw you top 10 on the pack leaderboard.
Yeah.
Okay, I see you.
We are out here. You know what I'm saying?
We're out here. Yeah.
We are out here. I'm trying to get my cut of that 30 million pack moon.
30 million. I did good the first time around. I don't know. I randomly posted. I purposely posted my referral link when it first dropped. I don't know who used it, but some massive ass whale used my code.
Yes.
And I got like I got like 0.8 out of it. Like I dumped at like
Damn.
at like 20 million.
Dude, that's a come up.
Yeah, I don't know who used it, but if you're out there, thank you. I
That was
appreciate your
probably fucking
contribution.
Iggy.
Probably
There
Iggy.
you
Probably
go,
Iggy. Just waiting around, sniping referral codes.
Dude, I had a squinch size come up at the first one. I got like $70. I was like, oh, sweet. That was cool.
Hey, dude. I'm
Hey.
telling
I made
you.
like 3 G's. I'm like, oh shit, nice. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, see?
And
That's no
it's
joke.
great because you do nothing and you get free money, which is the beauty
Yeah,
of
see?
Web3, I guess.
I got to get better at doing that kind of shit. I'm so fucking busy, and then I stop working and I check Twitter, and everyone's like, "I made a bunch of money by doing fucking bullshit," and I'm like, "Well, great,
Good for you, bro.
do that
Good
because
for you.
I'm fucking drinking well water out here in the country, working my ass off. Maybe I need to take a fucking vacation and start.
No, that's like the most relatable thing of all time. Like you put in like a full like 10-hour day of work, you log on and some like 7-year-old made $1 billion sniping some meme coin. You're like, oh well, fuck this.
Dude, we had
What's going on?
who is it? Kenobi was like, I bought like $90 of this meme coin. I didn't think it went through, so I didn't check. And then like 3 days later, it was worth 93K. And I was like, oh, that's
Yeah, see,
that's sick.
that's
bro.
the only way you can do it, though. The only way you like
It's coma strat.
really, the only way you really come up that hard is by like forgetting
No,
that
he
you
forgot.
did it, or by
Yeah.
like
It's
you have
called
to
the
just
coma
not know.
strat. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because otherwise, I'm like, okay, I'm up 50%. Get out.
No,
Yeah.
no. He said it
Take
himself. He's
initiative.
like, I would have sold 100% if I literally
Oh,
didn't
for
think
sure.
I didn't buy this coin.
Yeah.
My personal Pac Moon strategy is today I was like, yo, because the other top 10 people, they'd only tweeted like once and they get like, a couple 100,000 impressions per tweet. I was like, hey, you guys who can clearly do better, you should tweet. And I was like, since I reminded you, maybe quote tweet your boy. And it's worked out pretty well for me. So remind the whales. Good strategy.
Remind the whales. Okay. Let me see. Eardrop 2, right? That's what we're working with here.
You got it. So
All right, I'm gonna come dilute you right now.
yeah, I tweeted at Frank DeGods. I said, hey, quote tweet me. And then I flipped him on the charts. I was like, haha, I got him.
Man,
Wait, so what even is going on Blast?
All right,
What
so
the
here's what
fuck
you need
is
to do,
happening?
Squinch. Here's what you need to do. You need to get control of Doodles' Twitter account. That's step 1.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Are
right,
you
cool.
following?
How many impressions
I
do
know
we generate here?
All right. Step 2 is you want to put in my referral code. Like that's
Okay.
step
Oh,
2.
okay.
Okay.
That's an important step. Okay, got it.
Once you've done step 1 and step 2, then we can cook.
Don't say we never did anything for you, Ness, because we didn't mute you. Okay. Don't say we never did anything for you.
Where's my?
I would never.
Where does my cut come in on this? It just sounds like I just.
it sounds like it's
Hey, we
coming on the
can't-
back end.
Yeah, we
Sounds
can't
like I
talk about
lost my
kickbacks.
job.
Yeah,
This
there's
is a
no-
recorded
Lost
space.
my job, and I got Ness some referral code attention.
This
And
is
then nothing
a
after that.
recorded space. We don't
got it,
talk
okay,
about
okay.
cutbacks. Yeah.
All right, we'll deal with the rest of that later.
Points.
Yeah.
Points.
Point. You'll get point. You get Ness.
Points.
You get Ness points.
Points.
Kyle, do you have any referral codes?
Yeah, I got referral codes. Do you guys need some? What do we
What
got?
for?
What do you need?
I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean,
You need-
let me open my jacket here.
Yeah,
and, let's see what we got. I'm still on the top, bro.
I got
I'm still on the
wasabi.
top.
I got wasabi. I got thruster finance. I got hyperlock. I got.
You
What do you
you
need?
guys think I'm a Doodles maxi, but I got a bag just full of stuff that's waiting to go to the moon, man. You know, I've just been quiet. I had to change my PSP to this new guy because he looks like a boss. The other guy was way too happy. And yeah,
Is that the meme coin mustache? Is that what that is? Like, it's a little bit of like, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, it's the meme stash for
It's
sure.
like extra zoomed in too. It just like pops on the timeline a little bit more. You're like, whoa, it's like a
Yeah.
really close selfie he took.
and it really bounces off his untanned skin. Like it looks it's almost awkward, you know. Like look at that. That thing is
Wait,
so
Kyle,
brown.
I never realized that you did like zoom him in. Why did you do it like that? Why is he so big?
Why is he so big? Ask my wife. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Got him.
Oh
Don't
my
ask Junie's wife.
god!
Come on. I don't know why he's so big, man. He's a puff doodle. He's big. I mean, like he's batting 1,000 and he's girthy.
Oh
But like if
my
you look at
This
like
man.
if you look at the top of his head in comparison to like the top of A-Town's head or the top of Greedy's head, like in the spaces, he's just so much higher up.
Is he?
Dude,
though?
I gotta get
Ask burnt toast. I don't know. Ask burnt toast.
I don't know. I'm looking at Ness like side by side, and it looks like a
Yeah,
similar.
but Ness has got the fro. Ness has got the fro.
All right,
I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, you know what? I might have to go back and look at my edits here. I'll see. Maybe I did a little
Make sure
mistake
there wasn't
there.
a crop. Yeah, the old
Yeah.
screenshot instead of the right click save. It gets you every time.
You know, that might have been a crop fail on my part, but you know, I'm 40 years old, so let's give the boomer a break here.
You know what they say, Kyle? Like that camera adds 10 pounds, right?
Or like 50 inches, like one of the. It's way closer. Yeah, it's super close.
Is somebody like building with Tinker Toys?
Someone's
there?
making
What's
tiki.
happening?
Someone's making tiki masala. They're like,
Oh, that's
Popping
it.
popcorn.
Dude, I'm actually
Are you
popping popcorn for. Yeah,
wait, you're actually.
Very
Are you
slowly.
popping popcorn in like a 30-gallon thing?
Dude.
What is happening?
There's like
I-
5 kernels in there.
Okay, I'm going on mute. I'm popping popcorn here, guys. Oh, give me a minute.
He's
Okay?
It
got the
was
cast
popcorn.
iron skillet with the Dutch
Dude,
oven on top.
Psycho. Somebody gets who guessed that? You got.
Yeah, that
was
was pretty
Tony.
decent.
I think it was Tony.
Yeah.
It's the chef. He
The
had
chef.
to know.
The chef. Like, oh, that
He just
sounds-
hears he just hears food. He's like a Sonic food reviewer. He's like, wow, yeah, that grilled cheese was sick. The
He's
crunchiness, I
he's
can
sitting
hear
there.
it from across
He's sitting
the
there in
room.
the headphones. He's like, I think that's a Eastern maize blend. Maybe native corn, blue corn.
That was
it's Oaxacan from the central region of the
God.
southern part of picked in the early morning hours with a little bit of mist.
On the east side of the
On-
mountain, not the
On-
west.
yes,
Everybody knows
yes.
the west. Bullshit.
in the sunlight with a little bit of dew on the kernel.
wow, guys.
Anyways,
Incredible.
Squinch, man, it's good to see you on the spaces, man. I've just been in the back channels with you all day. You've been making fun of me for
I know.
posting stuff, man.
Always. Yeah, it's good to be here, dude. To be honest, like it's whatever time it is here, past 10. And what I tweeted about earlier is no joke. Like I'm drinking a Celsius and pacing in my driveway right now. That's like the only way that we're making this happen. Otherwise, I'd
Dude.
be KO'd.
You had me at Celsius. Whenever you texted me that, I was like, well, it wasn't a text, guys. It wasn't a text. It was a DM. I was like, Celsius. I was like, yeah, the boys
That's how-
ready to.
We know the
The
vibes.
boys ready to party.
We know
Yeah,
the
he's
vibes.
ready to go.
It's always cold. It's cold brew in the morning, black cold brew in the morning, and then if I have to get a second jolt in the afternoon, that's when I do the chemicals. You know.
All right.
Okay, so what flavor of Celsius we got here?
Ooh.
This one actually is just the straight orange, which is kind of trash. But my wife gets like the fucking mega packs from Costco. That it's just like whatever combination of shit they've got, which has the orange and the mixed berry, which I honestly hate. It's very cough medicine-ish. But then it's got the papaya guava one, which is kind of fire. So I kind of just take it as it comes.
What do we feel about like the vibe flavors, like Arctic vibe, peach vibe, tropic vibe?
Arctic vibe particularly is super like Windexy. Like there's something about it that makes me feel, and maybe it's just the can, but it makes me feel like I'm drinking like a just something very, very chemical,
Yeah.
which has kind of that Baja Blast nostalgia. So I kind of like it.
Dude,
I
for sure.
don't know.
For sure. Had Taco Bell last week. It was an experience.
Oh.
It was an experience for sure.
Oh.
Someone recommended, I was complaining to them that Taco Bell had gotten so expensive. He's like, oh, you got to download the app. And I was like, oh. So I downloaded the app and it was cheaper. I'm not going to lie. So it was a come up.
Now you're farming. Taco Bell
Oh,
points.
all the
You're
points, dude.
gonna pass off the referral
Dude,
code
I got
to
Chick-fil-A points. I got McDonald's points. I got Taco Bell points. What you need?
Dude, if Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A dropped a token,
It would be on Cardano.
Dude, yeah.
Duh.
Wait. Which one? Taco Bell or Chick-fil-A? No, Chick-fil-A would be on Cardano. Taco Bell would be like
No, Chick-fil-A would be on VV or something weird.
Like injective
Yeah.
or some shit. Yeah.
Chick-fil-A would be on Flow. Let's be real.
Is there a Jesus chain out there?
Let's be real.
Oh gosh, we're gonna get canceled.
Okay, so they said
It's-
Chick-fil-A would be
it's
on
too late.
Flow. I can't believe it.
Doodles
Okay.
got canceled a long time ago. I think we'll be okay. Let's just go.
Oh,
Let's
dude.
send it.
We're
But
over
send
the
it.
hump. We're
But,
over the hump.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What's up, guys?
speaking
what
of
are we doing here?
speaking of memes being a go-to-market strategy, let's talk. No, I'm just kidding. But no, no. no, or meme coins being a go-to-market strategy. I read that as a serious headline today for a newsletter, and I was like, we're so back. But so we do have Squinch on here, and love the octopus in the name on Twitter, by the way, or squid. Sorry. Wow. Super insulting. But no, that's awesome. But yeah, so we wanted to kind of talk about obviously Project Gray is coming up. People are excited about that. But I think I don't know. Based on some of the conversations we were having, and Tony and I have been having some discussions, wanted to kind of hear from like the product team, obviously, the studio, we're all playing around with it, and kind of maybe have an opportunity to hear some more deeper thoughts, go down the funnel, if you will, with you, and hear some thoughts about, how you think about product, how you think about the studio. So I think we'll kind of jump into there, Squinch, if you're cool with diving in, as the threaders say.
Let's fucking rock. Yeah, man. Let's dive in.
Okay, so I think that was my dog. Okay, so I guess there's a couple pieces here, and maybe
they know he got that dog in him.
Yeah, I got that dog in me. Money sign dog in me. Referral code. Okay, but I may be going.
It's never gonna stop. It's never gonna stop.
I may be going about this backwards, but whatever. Maybe we'll work our way there.
Yeah,
we want to talk about camp and things like that at some point. Well, actually, fuck it. We'll maybe start there, because Tony, it looks like you got something to say. Now you can all see this on video, so go for it.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess what prompted this space was we were talking with Mackenzie about camp, and we went to camp. Yes. We went there, for the opening day, before there was like the sticker printing in place. Like where you collect with the doodads, you get the stickers. So what we were kind of trying to get some more insight into was, we've yet to see there be a way for people to go to camp and purchase digital collectibles, right?
Yeah.
And we're kind of curious, thinking about like where you guys are testing, or how you guys are thinking through starting to present digital collectibles, whether that's through emails, whether that's somehow in camp itself. You could start anywhere.
Yeah. So when we first set up camp, obviously the studio was in such a state that it was like a super walled garden. It was in beta. It wasn't ready for mainstream. We really, at that point, hadn't even kind of like ground out the full concept and like gathered all the information we wanted to come out of beta. So camp, in its current state, was like kind of a first step out into sort of just even testing the product market fit around the opening and discovering of wearables, the character builder, like the avatar system as a whole, and how we could start to integrate that kind of like live collecting scavenger hunt type of experience like into one of the incredible things that Mackenzie sets up. So like at that time, we obviously wanted some way to onboard people who were there. There's a lot of fucking weird stuff with doing something like that, particularly with kids, because like obviously the onboarding mechanism is email. In our terms of service, generally the ownership of a digital collectible is relegated to people over 18. So like while we're inside that ecosystem and you've got like 4-year-olds and 12-year-olds and 7-year-olds in there, it really kind of makes that tricky. So as soon as we were like, basically we were supposed to have those exit kiosks with the sticker printing on launch, there were hellish problems with some of our hardware partners. I don't know, Doodles, if you remember seeing me there, but like the fact that I, as an electrified husk of a human being, was even able to interact with you is like fucking remarkable, because like we were all up for days. Like French Loaf and me and Jay and some of the people like were there all like through an entire night before opening, on ladders, fucking pulling out every single RFID scanner, reconfiguring them. French Loaf figured out from the Chinese instructions how to reconfigure them, reconfiguring them, carving out the foam in the wall, putting them back in. Like we were just crushed.
If people could have seen the back room, like I had to set my bag in the back room at some point. I don't know if I'd ever seen so many cardboard boxes that looked like a little like Mogwai gremlin had ripped through them. It was like the entire floor. It was like an episode of Hoarders. Like it was incredible.
It It was psychotic. And of course, like Sammy and Mackenzie and everyone on the creative side were just slamming to it on just the specific curve of the clouds back in the planet room. You know, like everybody was grinding really hard. But either way, those end consoles didn't get in. So French Loaf and I came back like 2 weeks later, a week and a half later, I think, and helped get those installed and set up. And that's really where we started to collect emails. And so like that moment there, everybody kind of aggregates their bracelets, boop, 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 all into one account. And then, you know, the parent puts in their email, and the reward that you get there is the sticker. It's like, obviously that's just a very, very low key trade where it's like, we want your email, your kids want a sticker, you know. So we do that trade. That's kind of like the onboarding mechanic. It's a relatively weak mechanic, particularly like with its placement at the end. You know, like my expectations for conversion there were pretty low because it's like the parent's been there for an hour, they're fucking over it, their kid, you know what I mean? They're like, all right, let's leave. Like, you don't need the sticker. I'm not putting my email in this shit. Let's go. But we've ended up getting like pretty solid conversion, like baseline conversion from entrants who create Doodles is 10%, which is pretty decent. But then when you consider that like at least probably a third at very minimum of those people are children, it kind of ramps that up, you know, it like skews it higher. So we were talking about this all in Miami, and we were like, you know, kind of talking about that experience, and I was talking about how many of those factors are kind of not ideal. And Julian actually was like, well, I mean, he was like, ideally, the studio would just live with you everywhere, and it would just like be on your phone, right? And you could just go into that experience, and just what you're doing at camp is just what you could do everywhere. And we all kind of had like a light bulb moment where we were like, well, fucking obviously, yeah, but like for some reason in Web3, we've been trained nothing should ever be mobile and it should always suck. So we were like, well,
not on desktop?
That's odd. Are you expecting them to carry their computer with them? So like,
impossible.
We really, coming out of beta, like we really started trying to frame the studio in our minds as like that bridge, that place where like the Doodles narrative world and the Doodles collecting ecosystem kind of like blends with the real world. And that's the thing that we kind of alluded to with like the Pharrell spot when the studio first came out of beta, where it's like he kind of like gets launched into the Doodles world via the character creator, via wearables, etc. But like thinking about that coming kind of the opposite way from experiences like camp, the ideal scenario and the thing that, you know, that I would like to see, the experience that I'd like to see people having, coming back to like when do they start interacting with digital collectibles, is that they experience the experience in the physical location, either depending on the age group, rooted in their phone, or on something akin to a bracelet that's linked through the parent's account on their phone. So they're onboarded as like a part of the ticketing process, as part of the entry process. And then they have that experience, and when they leave, they're in the car on the way home, you know, and whoever is not driving is sitting there and going through the shit that they found and putting it on and trading it with their brothers and sisters and friends. And then the dad, I have this whole little like hypothetical user story. You know, one of the kids in the back is like, yo, I found this, you know, this gold mushroom hat while we were there. And the dad's like, oh, that's cool. Let me see, bud. And he looks at the phone and he's like, that thing's worth $75.
This has an offer for $75.
Yeah. What is going on? Everybody, give me your fucking word.
We're going back to camp next weekend, okay?
Exactly. Or even just like you see, you know, they get those collectibles. Like, so basically, one of the things that I want to be able to see with the studio, and that like Greeny and I have really been focusing on, is like this idea of people are going to engage with our brand. And this like kind of comes back to Project Rai. People are going to engage with our brand in a lot of different ways. They're going to engage with our brand through, you know, through music, through streaming music. They're going to engage with it through video. Project Rai specifically, they're going to engage with it through the like awesome live installations that Mackenzie makes. They're going to engage with it through our partners, through our various brand partnerships that we're doing, through physical merchandise, yada, yada, yada. And at every one of those touch points, like this is kind of a part of that like transmedia storytelling vision with the studio, is that like through every one of those touch points, there should be a reason for them to kind of like opt into attribution, to come back to the studio to say like, yo, I experienced this part of the Doodles ecosystem. And the way that we kind of do that trade is through a collectible. So like you could see like, and we're still obviously like early testing this, where we're playing with NFC in conjunction with IYK. Like I know Doodles, you interacted with like that ETH card
Sup,
that
dog?
was at East Denver, and like that's like some of kind of like our first experiments in like taking this mobile web app and this moment where like I'm at this place due to being at this place, I'm going to kind of like prove it back to my account in order to get this thing. And the way that we see that kind of panning out is like, if you think about the IP in a broader sense, and you were to like kind of extrapolate that idea onto a different IP that you might be familiar with, you know, there's no way for Star Wars to understand, because of how fractured their like, you know, their digital systems are, and the franchises of all of the things that they participate in are. There's no way for them to know that Greeny knows like 950 times more shit about Star Wars than me. So if I were to go into the Star Wars app, if that were to be a thing, or even into Disney Plus, the type of content that I'm getting suggested is identical to the content that Greeny is getting suggested. And kind of one of the things that I think we have an opportunity to do through digital collectibles, through a mobile application, and like through kind of this new way of building a brand and telling a story, is to be able to have somebody who goes to camp come back, collect those things directly into their studio. We have an understanding of what their experience was like there based off of the stuff that they collected. And from that, start to tell them the story that maybe links camp to Project Gray, right? Or maybe maybe vice versa, that takes them from Project Gray to the story that's at camp. Like whatever that might look like, we're able to kind of like meet them where they are in their experience of this kind of like narrative journey. So that's like kind of one of the examples of that that attribution coming back. So with that being said, it's like we're looking into updating that camp experience to get ourselves to kind of probably, I would say like 50% of the way to what I think would be ideal, and just take like kind of one more step in testing that and see what sort of engagement we can drive back in.
Okay.
So you do see camp as like at this moment like a testing ground still?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's like I think for me, like for our team, it's a testing ground. For the broader business, it is like a fucking flagship marketing device.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily, it's doing phenomenally well, and it's like performed up until Bluey came and like kicked the fucking champion off the mountain. We were like right under only in Encanto, and we were performing better than any of the other Disney properties as far as like weekly ticket sales. So like we were doing really, really well. And it's like, but it's an expensive fucking place to run. So it's not like a huge revenue generator. It's more of like, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people in Chicago who have gone through that experience and met Happen Mellow. Well, you know what I mean? Like that is, and it's just kind of,
well, that's
continuing.
That's not unusual for a company to have a Ferrari, you know what I mean, or an F1 team that's not making boatloads of money, but it serves its purpose in a variety of ways. Like,
oh, absolutely, yeah, and it's like it was never really an intention for that to be like a revenue generating location necessarily. It's like perfectly break even while still having this incredible top of funnel experience. You know what I mean? Like it's so yeah, it's a really, I think for product though, particularly, you know, the way that we can continue to grow and make our experiences better is that it's just like we have a shit ton of fucking data. Like we know, obviously, you know, which of our collection points are the most active, and how many people who collect, you know, over the course of their time, all 20 locations, or what percentage of that it is, how much time elapses between each of those points, how many times they return to the kiosk to unbox and redress their characters, like, and those sorts of insights are the things that are like helping us to understand how kind of more general consumers might participate in an avatar ecosystem.
Well, and yes, okay, and that's what I wanted to kind of rewind all the way back to, and I appreciate you kind of laying out the thesis from you know, what is it, tip to stern or whatever. But okay, so you said that you were learning, you were trying to gain learnings about, like you said, consumer behavior from camp, or about like digital collectible behavior from camp. Yeah, what were you looking for? What did you find? Maybe what were you surprised by in some of the behaviors that emerged?
I was looking in part for completionism, to see how many people were interested in finding everything that they could. But really, one of my kind of like North Star heuristics that I was hoping to see mapped to the data was that people were returning really often to the central kiosks to reveal what they found. Because there is a game to discovering the stickiness. For those of you who haven't been to camp, there, like Hap's inventions got sucked through a portal into the Doodleverse. Go help Hap find his inventions. When the kids and families come through to the other side, there are these sticky notes throughout the experience that they have to find. So like psychologically, there is something to just finding those sticky notes and tapping your bracelet on them and hearing them go bloop, right? And that thing is not necessarily indicative of success from a wearables collecting perspective. It just proves that kids like scavenger hunts, right?
Here's a question: do you got random different sounds for different collectibles, or is it the same collectibles at the same touch points, or is there randomness in there? So like you could go find like one and like that's in a rare spot or whatever, and then like one in every 5 is like super fucking, you know what I'm saying? Versus the regular.
Oh, dude, I knew that was you, Burry. I'm not looking at my phone. Like, we're fucking talking right now. So there's no difference in the sounds, because once again, that hardware, it's like a fucking, that speaker is like the size of a nickel. It's not like a super. There's also a bassy sound that happens when you've already collected there. That's like whoop, whoop, and it's like kind of sounds like a fart because the speaker is so small. But the thing that does happen is each of the different locations has. So that is actually one of our biggest wearables collections, is what we have at camp. Each of those locations has a handful of wearables associated with it that also correlates with kind of like the geography of the region that you're in. Because our intention was like, if you were there in a family of 4, you weren't going to get all the same shit as your brothers and sisters, basically. Like we wanted it to be like, as you went to the kiosk and checked stuff, you would almost always get a different set than whoever you were with. So there's quite a bit of randomness between the different touch points. It's also spread in such a way that you don't do the experience and just be like, well, great, I got fucking 20 pants. I have a topless weird doodle with no shoes, and you know what I mean? Like, so we're very specific about that, but Burry, there are not different sounds, but there are definitely different outcomes. For sure.
I mean, I if you're testing like how eager someone is to go back and check what they got, and they realize that they got a different sound, that might, you know, if it's me, you know what I'm saying? If you got like a you're like,
well, that's what we need. Yeah, I mean, if we're trying to convert Burry Lurkins, then we have to make sure we get that sound.
If you're trying to convert Chef Tony's, have popcorn sounds, playing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, elote smells.
Is there popcorn pants like the bee pants or no?
Oh, that's
there's popcorn
great
pants.
idea.
The lint pants are vaguely popcornish, but no, I don't think there's popcorn pants. Anyway, back to that first metric. So like, people just finding the thing and hearing the sound is something, but that's not proving really anything around wearables themselves, the avatar system, digital collectibles. It's just proving like people like tapping shit and looking for it. The thing that I wanted to see was that they would go and find something, and then they would want to come back and reveal it. And because that moment of what did I get, and like to that question, very like that moment of like, I want to see that I got something different from the people around me. It's the thing that we all love about like fucking PFP reveals, about opening packs of cards, like any of that shit, where it's like, what did I crack? You know what I mean? Like, what did I get inside of that kind of like mystery moment was really what I was looking for. So I wanted to see kind of a 1-to-1, like you go and find something, you go back to the kiosk. You go and find something, you go back to the kiosk. I'm ending up, and I'm really, really happy with it. We're ending up with like kind of like a 3 collections to 1 check back. So that's like still a pretty good tempo where it's like, I see 3 in this room, I run back, I see what I collected, I go find 2 or 3 more, I run back and see what I collected. So we're actually like, I was looking for 1-to-1. It's kind of unrealistic because of the placement, because you tend to see multiple at the same time, and you're like, well, on my way back, I'm going to get this other 2. You know what I mean? There's not a huge space. So to the question, I wanted to see how much people were interacting with the dressing of the character and the revealing of the items, and we've been pleasantly surprised at how frequent that kind of core event takes place.
No, that's an interesting metric, and I know you have a hard out in 15, so I want to kind of get at the meat.
Oh shit, I had no idea. I can go a little over.
I got your back. But I want to kind of get at the meat of it. You mentioned, we all love ripping packs, we all love revealing PFPs and all this stuff, right? And I think that is the thing that wearables is so interesting to me, right? Because we have like high value NFTs, our Doodles and others. I kind of personally subscribe to the thesis that the value in those is where excess capital meets culture, right? It's all market dependent. If there's less excess capital, then lower floor price. But with wearables, they seem, I've heard you talk about this before, like more akin to a playing card, like Magic the Gathering, things like that. And so that's what I'm like, how do you view digital avatars and their accompanying wearables, like making them appealing? Like, is it an established play pattern that you're going after? Like how is Doodles looking to make wearables matter? Does that make sense? Like what kind of what I'm asking there?
Yeah. I mean, so we have a lot of different ways that we're thinking about making wearables matter from a kind of like gamified collecting and utility perspective. But I think like first and foremost, there's like a really I do think that the card pack thing is a really good analogy, because there's something so pleasurable in that experience, like of opening something mysterious and discovering that you pulled something fucking stellar, or something that's meaningful to you, or something that you find to be particularly cool. So like that play pattern is relatively easy to replicate, right? That's like something that we've been doing all along, and it's like one of the kind of like allures of NFTs in general, and like the way that the like previous cycle kind of like worked around a lot. That's like kind of just the way that reveal
feels. It looks rare,
like,
shiny. Like
exactly. And so like there's something there, though generally there is an outside force that gives that thing kind of an extra level of rarity or utility. So like if you think about Top Shot, there is the basketball player, and that person is like out and doing stuff. That is another type of media that you're engaging with that has like randomized, so to speak, outcomes that is giving additional value back to that collectible. If you think about Magic the Gathering cards or Pokemon cards, like more aptly, Pokemon is very infrequently played as a game in comparison to how many people collect the cards. Magic is probably more so played. Not as many people just are like pure collectors, but like with Pokemon, although that's the case, the fact that there is a game and there are mechanics around that card is a thing that gives it additional value and additional collectability. So like clearly, things get additional value from their use cases outside of just their visualization. So that's a thing that I think like we obviously are continuing to drive towards, and we have a lot of ideas around that. There's something that our team has been like kind of cooking in the background that I think can tie into that really well with wearables that I'm not going to go into right now, but I'll talk like more specifically about the fact that I think through the attainment of certain sets, the ability to find like a full collection of something is another common play pattern that doesn't necessarily need that external factor. So like if you are looking for, I mean, it's just like a thing that humans do very naturally, but you're looking for a matching set of X. I want the full check. You know what I mean? Like I want
right, like the verified ones.
Suit. Exactly. Yeah.
And they came in different drops. I saw that.
Yeah, exactly. And like I want the full X, I want the full Y. So a lot of that will be will be kind of like tested. The incentivization structure will be tested through a badging system that we're going to be working on in this, beginning part of this year. Additionally, I think through various the ability for us to reward users with packs as well as sell low cost packs on the site is another really good top of funnel activity for us to kind of like bring people down. So like let's like back it up to kind of this like funnel. Dude, that funnel gif that you sent of that like fucking Mobius strip eating itself in 3 dimensions is like ricocheting through my mind right now. But imagine you're you go through camp or an experience like camp. Maybe think of like an aged up experience, right? And as a teenager, whoever it might be, maybe you saw Project Gray, you come back to the studio and you might have a collectible as a moment of attribution from that thing, that first experience that you had with Doodles. And when you come into the studio, you've got this little splash of color, and then you get that starter pack, you get your Dolesville set, and you're like, okay, I've got this dope, whatever it might be. But the rest of my set's kind of gray. But looking here on the studio on the homepage, maybe there's some $4 packs, maybe there's some $15 packs, maybe there's something that feels like you could kind of like dip your toe in and start to explore. And like those of you who have used Pinnacle, like they do a really, really good job of kind of activating that middle of the funnel. Their top of the funnel is just like, doesn't fucking matter because it's Disney. But the middle of the funnel where they do that verified check collecting thing only. That's like that's the whole thing. And it's really, really effective, right? Where it's like, you want to get all of Mickey's crew and then you get a free X, and I did it immediately. Like when I first came on, I was like, wow, there's no even intro hook. There's no free moment. It's just like, hi, would you like to buy a thing? And
do you want the original starter pack? That's it.
Yeah.
For $40.
And it still got me. And I collected all like Goofy and fucking Daisy and whomever, all of the friends. And then I opened like 3 Snow Whites or something that I didn't even want. But like I spent like $60 in like 10 minutes just to get that set completed. So I think like once you start to even like bear case, just like baseline, start to be able to play with some of those kind of like game hooks, some of those user hooks of like wanting to complete this thing to get this next free thing and to potentially maybe even win something more valuable. You start to get people into this cycle like that come off the streets of Web 2, come into the studio, start to experience the cycle, and then ideally, in future state, are seeing trades happening in app, are seeing other people's profiles and seeing the shit that they've got and seeing the value of the wearables that they have, and start to want to complete more robust and richer sets, create more unique and interesting doodles, and kind of snowball their way into some of the Genesis wearables, some of the duplicator wearables that have been accessible thus far only to OGs. And as they start to do that, they kind of like find themselves deeper and deeper into this ecosystem that like we're already a part of. And like right now, the way the studio's set up, that hook isn't all the way there. That cycle isn't all the way there. But as you kind of like move through that spiral, you get closer and closer to the parts of the ecosystem that we're all familiar with. And I think like there's a need for us to really focus on that part of the studio experience, particularly leading up to Project Gray, because like we're gonna get many millions of eyeballs on us when the special goes live and leading up to it. And we need a place where they don't come in and they're like, oh, cute, cool, okay, well, can't wait for the next one. Yeah, exactly. We need a place where they're like, what the fuck is going on in here? You know what I mean? Like we were talking to Granny and I were talking to a holder, and like when people first see this, see this special, I want them to be able to come onto the studio and look at it and be like, wait, is this the first episode of this? Like, how are there this many things already happening? How are there this many people already engaged? Like, what is happening here in this, and how did this come to be? Like, that's the feeling that I want to create for for those new users. Like I want them to be astounded by what you guys are all doing, because it's fucking astounding. And the only way to do that is to kind of create those loops that are meaningful and make sense to them at kind of their root nature.
Yeah, that's interesting. We talk about kind of being astounded by what's going on. That's something that Tony and I had talked about many moons ago when we were writing our newsletter that was covering a bunch of community events. It was an attempt to create a feel within the Doodles ecosystem that it was a lived-in universe, that there was something always kind of happening, right? We actually got that wisdom from the guy who writes the Bored Ape Gazette. He kind of gave us this term of lived-in universe. He was like, there's a Walmart down the street. He's like, you don't need to go there, but it's open 24 hours. The lights are on. There's people buzzing around. Like you just know it's there, right? And so I think that's such a cool idea to think about. Like the studio, I might not log on today, but I know there's probably something going on. I know there's people trading, talking, doing things like that, and it's a true lived-in universe. That's really
and beyond that, see, like that's where I think that we have a lot of interesting opportunity, because like we talk a lot about storytelling at Doodles, and like of course like nobody's seen any fucking story yet aside from like our social content's like really fucking awesome, but like we now have kind of in the back rooms currently like this really fucking rich story world and these really, really interesting set of characters. And like as this is building out, and Greeny's really, really pushed this internally, like we have an opportunity to have a lived-in universe in two different ways. We have an opportunity to have a lived-in universe, a rich lore of the community, right? Like there are so many fucking internal memes, and like people always know, who's gonna troll in what way, and like there's this cultural narrative that has cropped up around the brand, and now there is a more traditional narrative that will start to be born alongside this show. And one of the things that we're hoping to do in the studio and with the product is to create kind of this like twofold lived-in universe where we've got that one, the community one that we're all familiar with, and we have the in-world one. And the lines there are blurred between an OG, an OG that might be here on the spaces and just fucking hanging out, and their OG in its representation within the Doodles world in that story that and love. So like when you come in to the studio as a new viewer, you're seeing this culture and this community living there, but simultaneously you're seeing the interaction of like background characters from the show in this transmedia content. And then you're starting to recognize like, wait, that fucking guy whose profile I'm looking at, his PFP, that's a character. That's somebody that I saw in it. Like that's that fucking dude from the show. And this is a guy that I can listen to on Space. Who is this? How did he get to be that? You know what I mean? And like,
who's this meth dealing fucking meme coin twisted guy with a mustache?
yeah. Who's this fucking messed out guy, and why is he in my cartoon? And like I think that's a really, really unique storytelling opportunity that we have to kind of like have this like mash between those two worlds, and that's like one of the places where I think the studio has a really unique opportunity. So like that's the part that I'm as a fantasy storytelling fucking just like media nerd like that, I think to me that's the part that I'm most excited about, where like we use that kind of like collecting hook to draw people in and to get them involved in the ecosystem, but through that we use that leverage to tell better stories. Because like that, like we're here right now, I mean myself, everybody in this space, like everybody like in this space, meaning like in this fucking chat right now, we're all here because of the narrative that we've formed with each other, right? Like we're partially maybe like people are here for their bags or like whatever the fuck it might be, but it's because of the community. It's because of the stories that have formed around the community and the fucking relationships that people have found with each other. And I think that there's a really strong opportunity to do that in a lot of different ways if we're clever with how we use our resources.
So Squinch, I have a question. My nephews were here, and if they didn't want to play freaking Quelf cards, they had one question. They wanted to know, when is the freaking app coming online? And also they wanted to know, when is the beginning of the year not the beginning of the year for you anymore? Because I'm pretty sure the fourth quarter ends in April. So are you telling me and my nephews via me that there's going to be an app with abilities to do things before the end of the first quarter this year, Squinch?
Bro, I don't understand almost anything that you just said. I have no
Same.
clue what you're talking about.
There was a lot of
sanity
smoke
check.
there.
Sanity check to
I
you, Squinch.
understand, Burry, that you were doing that thing that one guy did where he was like, see, I wake up at 6 a.m. and by 8 a.m. I've had 2 full days because I break every minute into 30 more minutes. And by the time you even wake up, I've lived the whole day. I know that you're doing that.
Time is money, dog. Time is money. Dog.
You're doing that time bender thing on me.
You
But
got Burry.
If you had a real question, you can maybe restate it because I have no idea what you're getting
Burry,
at.
are you talking about the studio as like a web app becoming an iOS app?
Yeah. When are we going to give our money to Apple? Tell me that.
Okay, that's a great question. So, I mean, there's a lot of sweet shit that we can unlock from doing a native app. We definitely have interest in doing it. It is something that we've discussed. There are a lot of, obviously, the giant gauntlet of Apple rests heavily on the heads of
all right.
of NFT
Take Apple
projects.
out of the equation. When are we going to put the freaking Evaluate SDK involved into trading peer to peer? You know what I'm saying? I need 82 to give me that freaking monkey.
The Pokemon trading cord.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to trade some socks and shit, dude. Let's go.
Yeah, it's on our roadmap as something that we want to get out before the full release of Project Gray. So that is that's
full release of Project Gray.
Yeah, like before. So like right now, the NFT NYC experience is like bringing OGs behind the curtain while it's in development. So before the actual show comes out later this year, that is something that absolutely needs to be in the studio.
I think that nomenclature has like confused some people. They're like, oh, when Project Gray is out, it's like no, like the actual Project Gray, not like the event and NFT NYC. So
yeah, and like the show, the fucking thing is not called Project Gray. That's like our secret internal code name that we've called it. So like when we do the Project Gray thing at NFT NYC, that's us really kind of like getting a view into the process, into where we're at, and getting some alpha about like what the special will be like. The actual launch is going to be way fucking bigger than, no offense to us, but it's going to be way fucking bigger than 500 of us hanging out in New York. So
damn.
this is the you know the
We've only just begun.
With one guitar. Sorry, the jukebox here. I can't get back.
Yes. Good callback. All right, wait. What time we got? Ask another thing before Grandpa's got to go to bed. What's up, Tony? Let's do it.
Yeah, Tony.
All right.
Okay. While Tony's pondering, so let me just kind of recap and clarify to make sure that I've heard this correctly, right?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So you, the pejorative you, are trying to build demand for wearables using like traditional collectibles, hooks, all kinds of other things. And that's like the bear case, right? That's without the existence of Project Gray. And then all of the layers of storytelling, Project Gray, community storytelling, things within the studio are going to be like rocket fuel on top of that. Is that the kind of sauce?
Yeah. So yes. So the goal would be through a flexible avatar system, more flexible than the one that we're experiencing right now from the perspective of an additional dimension, not including the possible dimension of time. We will engage a hub of identity and collecting that will, interact with what I think will be like a really powerfully growing brand bear case, right? So it's like you have this launch pad, you have this jumping off point where you collect, you trade, you interact with a community, and you try to complete various activities that will allow you to unlock more things. Like that already on its own is a proven use hook. So then if you take that hook and just like you said, you take that kind of like tinder that is laid by that hook, and you then put out a special and correlated music that fucking wins awards and breaks records and gets in front of tens if not hundreds of millions of people, then that thing that was already a really engaging kind of like like you said, like bear case loop becomes something that has like kind of exponential network effects, right? Because that whole series of things becomes more attractive the stronger the other activity within that ecosystem is.
Okay, excellent. Tony, you have a question?
Okay, yeah. So maybe if you could not be super broad, but what, like, on the product team right now are your top 2 priorities? Because it sounds like there's a whole lot of things going on, but I'm talking like more like short term.
Short term, top 2 priorities. Fuck. Well, one of them, if I'm talking really short term, one of them's happening in the next few weeks, and I'm not gonna speak to it. So like we have one thing that's more kind of like Ethereum side related to the studio, but is not a part of this hook particularly that we're talking about. And so that's like super near term, like built and being tested right now, kind of near term. Coming out of that, so that I can be a little less broad, our focuses are on that kind of like collecting hook and loop and social discoverability within the platform. So like we can look at that like the ability to purchase and be rewarded in-app packs and badging systems. So that's like those two I feel like link together pretty well, right? So it's like you completed this set, therefore you received this pack as a reward. So like kind of tuning up that drop and opening system is like kind of a part of that core loop, and badges are kind of like the anchor that make those things possible, right? So once this thing is collected, badge acquired, once badge acquired, Y happens, right? So badges, in-app packs are some of our big focuses, and the esteemed Furry Lurkin in-app swap and chat is another thing that's like kind of like high on our priority list. So I would say that those 3 kind of like pillars are some of our most highly requested feature sets that we're going to be focusing on, and will help us to sort of see how that engagement loop works. A kind of emergent request after the studio went live was around discoverability. So like we started to notice people sharing their studio profiles in their Twitter bios. Like we started to notice people trying to drive people to their profiles, but like there's nothing really to do on someone else's profile so much other than to see
is there like a Twitter link, like a connect you guys can do, so that like you can just connect your Twitter that links to the account, and then like if I want to see what kind of freaking wearables Squinch, whatever Squinch, or whatever, like oh, Squinch has got these wearables.
You trying to see one from the Doodle Vault? Yeah, trying to see my Pac Moon tweets inside the studio? Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No. I'm saying like I want to see.
And we're back to ref codes.
I want to see what you're cooking with, dude, and I want to swap.
Yeah. So in general, like one of the things that we've found is like people want to be able to like discover each other's accounts and like traverse through kind of like the net of users and interact with each other's accounts, and that would tie very well into some of our like marketplace integration desires. So like if you stumble upon somebody else's profile, like it just, once again, that's like one of those big unlocks that makes trading and buying and selling of wearables that much more effective. If you can't discover other people's profiles, like if you're a new person who comes on and you've got all the gray, Dolesville wearables, and you never see fucking, Brillo's like crazy full hollow outfit, you don't even know that exists. So that kind of discoverability, like social discoverability in app, is another thing that's like been kind of an emergent request.
Great granddaughter to be like, my great actually this would be coming from the voice of a grandpa, to be like, listen here, there's lady, I had a Squinch owned original, and it's the glasses that I gifted to you. You know what I'm saying? And she's like walking around and her tiny little room that she's she's stuck in, but she's got the metaverse with Squinch glasses on, dude. And she's known.
Yeah.
Let it be
check the chain, Grandma.
Like the Gary owned originals. I want a Squinch bag full of coins.
Fair.
Yeah, dude. That's my goal. That's my goal is to pump your great granddaughter's backs. That's what I'm
That's
going
all we
for.
want.
Dude,
That's
thank
all,
you,
that's
thank
all
you,
we want.
Squinch. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
It's
Squinch.
very admirable.
Squinch, I know you got a jet, but can I hit you with just a quick take? I want your opinion. I've had this kind of psychotic bull thesis, and I want on Project Gray, and I want your opinion.
All right.
Okay. I've been my wheel's been turning in regards to Project Gray, and I've been thinking about because it seems like this we have Pharrell. It seems like this can be very music focused, right? Like people have been talking about the soundtrack, Doodle Records, things like that. And I'm thinking about, with the recent success of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, right? She was able to convert a music audience into a visual media audience, going to theaters, things like that. I'm wondering if this is like the crazy psychotic bull case. Like, streaming revenues are down. Probably, people are complaining about them. And do you have all these music artists, Pharrell's friends, more or less, who are looking to convert a new audience into a visual audience, right? And the Doodles animated special is coming at this kind of perfect time, this confluence of factors with like TikTok snippets of music, these music artists looking to expand to different medias, and it all coming to this one special that could just it'd be a paradigm shift in like media distribution, content creation, music artist monetization, and all kinds of other things. Or am I being crazy?
I don't think you're being crazy. I think that no, I don't think you're being crazy. And based off of the interest we've been getting in that vein from the type of people that you're talking about, am I being vague enough? I think that other people see that coming as well. And I think that particularly the Scott's art style, and particularly some of the work that's going into Project Gray itself, is appealing beyond maybe some other IPs because it's so nascent. And I think that additionally to the points that we were making before, the ability for these artists to engage with kind of like a young IP ecosystem that branches out beyond the types of media that they're used to, not only being streaming, but also even being video, into collectibles in the ways that we were talking about, I think is something that is like really, really ripe and is definitely like drawing eyeballs from that ecosystem for sure.
And two, I think, if you have an entertainment industry that's gun shy on new IPs, I see music artists as a way to essentially solve the cold start problem where they can convert their audiences. So they might give, obviously Doodles is going to do Doodles does regardless, but I'm just looking at other players in the industry that might be like, oh, that's interesting. Like we can use music, artists to jumpstart these IPs where they might have been gun shy, spending a bunch of money previously. Just a theory.
Yeah. No. I mean, I really think that's very similar to Julian's theory too. And I think that we'll see that very much playing out in the way that Project Gray goes. Like there will be more revealed in very short order, but I will tell you that like the music in conjunction with the animation and the art that's going into this project had me more hyped than I've ever been about Doodles. And then once I heard some of the early music in correlation with that art, it really flipped it on its head in a way that I think is like really, really remarkably powerful. And I'm so fucking psyched for those two things to be coming together.
Let's fucking go.
Okay. Before you guys just keep throwing softballs, I got a freaking fastball, Squinch, dude. Right down the BTC to ETT, ETH.
Oh, God.
God, I know, dude. It was a stumble. But this is a hard-hitting question, bro.
Is it going to be another time traveler thing?
I mean, it could be, dude.
When Android Google Play app.
This is a real question.
When
you're talking scale, numbers, eyeballs. Are you guys? I mean, I know you guys are making updates like real quick, and it's great to see. Are you guys going to be ready for that wave that you keep talking a big story of?
Okay,
dude. Honestly, I that is, it's scary.
Well,
to be
that's
real,
why it's
to
a
be
real
real,
talk, dog. I said I'm
it's
freaking
fucking
throwing
scary.
a fastball, man.
And no, it's not even a fastball. It's just true. We have, dude, we've got French Loaf and 3 dudes writing all the code. You know what I mean? Like, we got 3 full-time engineers, and we've got like a potentially really, really big top of funnel. And so like, it's a fucking race, to be honest. It's a fucking race, and it's like kind of overwhelming to be ready for that type of onslaught that we're gonna get. But I couldn't be like,
Okay, so
I
couldn't
have more faith in the people that we got.
Here's the softball.
Like
My question. You've got people that are like obviously into it already, right? Like without giving away the secret sauce and having to sign a bajillion like NDAs, is there any way to leverage the community for people that like gyms? Like that guy had me setting up freaking whatever flow reference wallet was called before, you know, like way back in the day. Like I feel like I know way too much.
Rest in peace, Lilico.
Yeah, Lilico. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, whatever, rebrand, but like, you know, leveraging people on the inside to like scale it and stuff. Like, I just don't want to see like greatness get like, and I'm not trying to like diss on anyone. I just want to like make sure that like there's like some stress testing to it, and that it's going to be a cool, smooth process for everyone and easy, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, well, yes, that's obviously that's our goal too, and that's I don't know. I think that we try to engage we try to engage the community as much as we can to like really hear like every fucking thing that people encounter and every like issue that anybody has. And Greenie has been a fucking champion in Discord, listening to every issue that anyone runs into and ticketing it and making French Loaf want to fucking blow his head off with all of the little tickets and all of the little things that he wants to clarify and make smoother and like fucking iterate on. And you know, like that's our whole fucking focus, you know. And so like the way that I think personally, like the way that we make this work, the way that we make this make sense is that like we focus on, you know, the small group that we have. Like, I mean, it's actually really big for the stage that we're at, but we look at the people who are engaged and who are using the platform and who are giving us feedback, and we spend this time trying to make it as perfect for that few hundred people as we possibly can, not thinking about that open funnel as much, and just really make the thing that we've got as fucking good for who's there as it can be, knowing that as the doors swing open, that there are people like us out there, right? That there are people like us who will run into this experience, and if we can make it as good as we can for ourselves, that we're making it good for them too. And those are the people that we want to have in. So like, I mean, you're bringing up all of my nightmares and all of my
fears. Like right before you leave.
I know. Well, no.
Yeah, right before you leave, just like tell me, like, do you have the resources to be able to handle the onslaught?
Now that you have Celsius pumping through your veins, let me just spike that blood pressure a little bit.
It's a good question, and honestly, it's like it's the fucking question, and it's like that's the it feels kind of like 300 or like something sometimes, where it's like we've got a little crew and everyone's just fucking hustling as hard as they can to make that the case, to make it that.
Well, can you guys like put out like put like a bounty out? Like there, I can think of like so many different like entry points and scenarios of like getting into the ecosystem, right? Like you can just be coming off of a blank email and you got the dummy wallet. You could be coming off of like, I have a dapper with the NBA. Like there's so many different like things. Like can't you like set up kind of like a I don't know. I would think like a RFP type of deal where like people could sign up to like complete tasks to do different flow checkouts for you guys, right? On the user side.
Yeah, I mean, I think I fucking love that. I think that's definitely a viable thing to do. I think one of the things that we need to do first is that like we already have more. We already have so much feedback to do. Like the problem isn't that we don't have enough problems discovered yet. The problem is that we have to first make the fucking like happy path fucking perfect. And I agree that like we absolutely should leverage people to like, and our community does it for free. I mean, like I probably had 750 tickets from Etai alone, you know, on the studio beta. So like we don't need to fucking pay anybody to make us tickets. Like you can ask Greeny, he's fucking up to his nipples in tickets every single day. But like I think what we need to really find is the way to make the most common experience as perfect as we can, and then from there, to your point, like look at all of those tendrils, all of those different entry points, and really hammer out that stress testing in a different way. But like getting the first loop activated and iterating on that as quickly as we can, I think is the most important part. Because like, okay, so you have imagine a perfect fucking seamless, flawless onboarding, and the character builder is like utterly perfect, and there's like never a stutter, but then there's just still nothing that you can do after you build your character.
Right.
Like I think getting that full cycle, that full user loop all the way down, and then refining is the way that will find the most success, like strategically from my point of view. Because like we can't know the parts to refine until we have something that creates stickiness. So that's like kind of where I'm going with it.
I feel like you should turn the studio into an online persona AI like Shirley Lowe, bring her up on stage, and then have Burry interview her and see whether or not it's stressed out or not. And that's the stress test. And then you'll know.
Yeah, we have to turn it into a sentient
and
AI.
that's why Flow fixes this.
How you feeling?
Dude, that lost me, dude, but I'm excited and I will participate.
All right, Squinch, when you made the 300 reference, it broke my brain. Like I immediately imagined a deepfake version of like you French toast, like or French loaf, like superimposed,
put some respect on
superimposed on them. And then I imagined Pharrell as the Persian emperor leading millions of people. He's like, all that they require is an offering of wearables. Like just some weird shit. Like,
dude, somebody
please make that. Please, somebody please put Pharrell as the emperor. Millions of people. It would be incredible.
That's how I feel, man. Before I go in and try and figure out how the fuck I'm gonna go to bed now that I have this coursing through my veins, who's going to NFT NYC? Are you guys coming?
I gotta figure out.
It's a sore subject on this stage. It's a sore subject on this stage, dude. It's a sore subject.
Yeah. If a random plane ticket falls in my lap, I'm gonna go. But Lift's gonna be in France, so he's definitely not gonna go.
Oh damn! What are you doing in France, man?
Dude, just vibing. You know,
just picking up a couple loaves.
Dude, just vibing. No, family vacation. But
awesome.
Might squeeze some Web3 things in there. Got a couple peeps who might try to visit, so we'll see.
Dude, you always find a way to do a little road content.
Ooh, what can I say? Can't help myself. But dude, no, Squinch, I know we've kept you way over, and obviously gave you an existential crisis. All good.
No, that's what Burry's here for, bro. That's that's what I expect out of him. I'd be fucked up if he didn't.
Hey man, you gotta keep you on your toes, dog. I'm just trying to make everybody win.
It's true.
Trying to make everybody win.
It's true. It's true. It's behind those glasses. There's just determination. Behind Burry's.
Bro, if you can't understand the fury behind these glasses, dude, are you kidding?
Unstoppable, unquenchable fire.
The fury behind these eyes is like the fury behind Squinch's mouth.
It's true. It's true.
Bro.
When Doodlefied Cthulhu just helmet that you can just drop on. That's what you need,
dude.
Squinch.
I fucking need it. Yeah, just so you understand, my little squid. Like when I first started at Doodles, I was using my old PFP that I always used, and it was an Illithid. Those of you who are familiar with Dungeons and Dragons lore, that's a mind flayer pre Stranger Things. Oh, and what a mind flayer is it is a humanoid creature with psionic powers and a tentacled mouth. And so from a Dave Raposa comic, if anyone's familiar with that artist.
Hold on. Go back to the powers. Can you explain that in human speak, please, for a second?
They wrap their tentacle mouth around your head and suck your brain out of it, or turn you into a thrall, in which you follow their psionic command. What is it? It's just a fucking. You're like a part of the hive mind. Yeah, you're like a part of the hive mind.
Yeah. Yes, I will obey the TV. Sure, got you.
So basically, there was a comic book by Dave Raposa that had the fucking dude, but he was smoking a cigarette and he was like a detective mind flayer, and that was always my PFP when I started at Doodles. So now I just have to keep the squid alive somehow.
Nice.
Wow.
So I
It'll
do
come
want
full
that.
circle.
I want the fucking.
Wait,
I want
what's the name of that?
Cthulhu face.
That's a card, or that's a like a, what is that? The D&D is.
It's a comic book. There's a comic
There's a
book.
comic
Well,
book?
that character is from a comic book that is about D&D, bro.
Whew,
This
man,
is this is how it's going to be. This is what it's going
to.
to feel like to explain
Wow.
the Doodles universe, like in like 8 months from now. Like, no, it's a wearable, but it's also it's also in a universe, and it's
you
also.
don't understand. Yeah, it's a wearable, but it's also a universe.
No, I know that this wearable is actually like a galaxy that goes in your head, but that galaxy is part of a broader storytelling universe that's driven by community and then company narratives that creates more wearables that can be swapped.
Dude, I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
I mean,
Very- very
the sub universe of Moggles, dude, is gonna go deep, bro. It's just getting started.
Started with meme coins and it ends with meme coins. You love to
No,
see
it ends with squinch coins. You know
fair,
what I'm saying?
fair. That's
bro.
the redemptive arc.
Plus,
So, and when you wake up
Too.
tomorrow and you don't do something good, minus 10 squinch coins. But like, if you just do a couple good things to everybody, dude, you all can just accumulate squinch
Just
coins.
to
And
yourself.
then,
It's like a
Dude,
self-policing. Like,
Yep.
yeah, that's like
BBM
the
on
tooth
flow,
fairy.
it comes through, dude, and you just start migrating squinch to other things. It's game on.
yeah.
Bro.
Oh
All
my
right,
god.
All right, that's it.
I think that is
now.
time
That's it.
for
That's it.
us to go to bed.
Yo, guys, thank you so much for having me on. And even though this is like crazy nighttime for me, I'd always love to come jam with you. This has been a lot of fucking fun. So I appreciate you guys doing this.
Dude.
Dope. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was fun. And I think we got a lot of good insight. It's definitely something I'm gonna have to like listen back to because I'm just like so discombobulated right now. But we really do appreciate you kind of like turning and burning with us really quick. And I think it's really exciting with Project Gray. I hope I'm able to make it. I think that there's gonna be a lot of people super pumped. And like you said, there's some new stuff coming in a couple weeks. We like to hear that. That should be a lot of fun. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming through to Ink Tank episode number 34, where we jumped in talking in real life events, digital ownership, the Doodles funnel from our project Squidward. We will see you guys same time, same place next week. Take it easy, you filthy animals.
Wait, do this.
All right, let's go do it.
Just remember as you go about your week, and I won't be able to say this to you next week, so you gotta let this carry 2 weeks of energy, all the way to Project Gray and beyond. Remember, think not of what Doodles can do for you, but what can you do for Doodles?